銃持ってこい。はいはい。敵襲か。わかりません。どういうことだ。何かでかいのが。なんだこいつは。ゴジラってやつじゃ。なんだそれ。島のやつがそう言ってたんだ。今日みたいに深海魚が浮いた日はゴジラが来るって。ゴジラ。
Despite budgets that barely scratch the surface of their Hollywood counterparts, Japan still produces the best monster movies around. I don't know what it says about a nation that has experienced some of the greatest physical disasters in the history of the world to still want to see that level of carnage recreated on screen. Is it healing? I suppose it must be. The latest Godzilla film, the 33rd from the famed Toho studio, is Godzilla Minus One. And, like its predecessors, this Godzilla is a giant, fire-breathing, scaly metaphor. As World War II draws to a close, kamikaze pilot Koichi, played by Ryunosuke Kamiki, is saved from going on a suicide bombing run by the arrival on the small Pacific island on which he's stationed of a giant, hacked-off lizard. Back in Japan, he is racked with survivor guilt, but manages to rebuild his life with a young woman he meets in the rubble and an unrelated baby girl, both of whom had lost everything in the bombing of Tokyo. Determined to make up for what he considers to be his failure during the war, he takes a job on a minesweeper in Tokyo Bay. 2 ships tow a submerged cable around to cut the lines that connect the many hundreds of mines to the seabed. When they float to the surface, his job as crack marksman is to shoot them out of the water. It's dangerous but rewarding work, and he makes some great friends who are going to prove useful when that giant lizard wakes up with a nuclear-powered headache.
Pacific Fleet destroyer USS Lancaster was attacked and disabled by an unknown enemy. No further details known at this time.
Intercepted a ship distress call from Pacific Fleet attack sub-USS Redfish reporting pursuit of massive undersea organism through Pacific waters. After successfully photographing target, Redfish made contact and was destroyed. Wreck reconnaissance picked up high radioactive emissions when hull collided with enemy creature skin.
The 1946 US nuclear tests at Bikini Atoll rouse the monster once again, and Godzilla hits Tokyo, destroying much of the previously untouched Ginza district in one of the most spectacular depictions of urban carnage ever put on screen. And then, point proved, he disappears back into the ocean. To protect the people of Japan from a future attack, all aspects of society must join forces to find a technological and engineering solution to the Godzilla problem. But they're going to be on their own. The Americans can't help because they're too busy playing one-upmanship with the Russians. Maybe this will also provide an opportunity for Koichi to find the redemption he's seeking, a redemption that he probably doesn't even need.
何言ってるんですか。やっとの思いで生きて帰ってきたんでしょ。
仕方ないでしょ。このままじゃ3人とも飢え死にです。アキコだってこのままじゃ。
それは分かってるけど。
金さえあればアメリカ製の粉ミルクだって何だって買えるんです。そのためだったら
死んだらダメです。
While there is the usual amount of inventive destruction on offer, Godzilla Minus One is also a proper film about guilt, loss, heartbreak, and how to navigate those emotions inside a Japanese society which finds it hard to talk about such things. The pacing from writer-director Takashi Yamazaki, who also supervised all the visual effects, is expert. We spend a lot of time with our characters in their daily lives as they try and rediscover some normality after every catastrophe, the bravery and resilience of ordinary people. But there's always dread, and when Godzilla arrives in his entirely uncommunicative and unpredictable fashion, there's terror, but there's also a kind of philosophical acceptance. The recreation of 1940s Tokyo is simply spectacular. You know you are watching a massive amount of CGI because you simply must be, but it's impossible to see the seams, so you simply lean back and accept it. It must be a frontrunner for a special effects Oscar next year. It's amazing that after all these years, there's still something new for Godzilla to tell us. The current Western version involves him and Kong and a bunch of other kaiju. They're called Titans in the Monarch franchise that's currently on Apple TV+, but they're really just egotistical monster buffheads, and us humans are just cannon fodder. Films like Godzilla Minus One and the 2016 satirical classic Shin Godzilla use the great beast to look at Japanese society and culture, its strengths and weaknesses, and wreck a few cities in the process.
小山のような生物だったとしか。
なんだよ。偉そうなこと言ってお前も何も分かってねえじゃねえか。
これを見るまで私も半信半疑だったんです。ゴジラ。
Godzilla Minus One is rated M for violence and is playing in very limited sessions in the main centres now. Sessions are a mix of Japanese or Japanese with English subtitles, so select wisely.